Hey guys, TheSneakySnake here, brothers in arms, World of Warships. And today's video, we're going to take a look at a game that I had in the Edinburgh, the Tier 8 British light cruiser. I'm playing with my buddy Megadude from APOC. He's playing in the North Carolina, the Tier 8 American battleship, and we're playing some domination here on the map, the Atlantic. For my captain skills, I have Priority Target, Jack of all trades, Expert Marksman, BFT, Superintendent, and Concealment Expert. And for my equipment, I'm running Main Armaments Modification 1, AA Guns Modification 2, Steering Gears Modification 1 and 2, and Concealment Systems Modification 1. So the Edinburgh here in World of Warships, what do you need to know about it? Well, this is a ship that has already been featured on the channel in my Tactics and Strategy series encompassing the tiers 6 through 10 British light cruisers, and it was one hell of a game with 7 kills, 203,000 damage, and I ended up going 2v1 at the end of the game versus an Amagi and an Ibuki, and I was able to take care of business. So if you haven't seen that glorious replay, I'll put the link to that video in the description below. This game that you're about to see here is actually going to somehow surpass that 207,000 point mark that I was able to reach, and this one is going to be an excellent showcasing of not only how good the Edinburgh is, but also what you can do with a teammate, a friend, what have you, in your division. And we're going to basically, myself and Megadude, carry this game for our team to victory. And it's a really nice replay. This is a solid World of Warships replay. And there's also an extremely ridiculous scenario that happens right at the end. So please stick around, because this one was, well, one of my best games that I've had in weeks in this thing. And yeah, it's pretty sweet. So, the Edinburgh. It has pretty good survivability, at least when you consider the British heals that the light cruisers get, where you can get back just a ridiculous amount of your hit points. And then, of course, tossing on the flag to get you a little bit extra. And you have a very surprising and a very large amount of hit points to pull from throughout the course of the game. You also come equipped with 12 of those very naughty British 6-inch guns that shoot only armor-piercing shells. And against angled targets, they still do decent, especially against angled targets that haven't taken too much damage, but their bread and butter really is on the broadside above the belt armor when you're just diving into all the secondaries and the AA guns and the conning tower of whatever you're shooting at, and you can just do a ridiculous amount of damage. The Edinburgh also comes with a nice set of torpedoes. You get torps on both sides of the ship. You get 3 of them, and they're the Mark 9 21-inch torpedoes. And they have a great range of 10 kilometers and hit rather hard. It's over 15,000 damage. I don't know the exact number off the top of my head, but they are pretty good. And then the Edinburgh specifically also is the first British light cruiser that gets a pretty terrifying AA suite, at least if you spec it fully for it. It's not really till the Neptune that you don't have to spec for AA, and it's still going to be ridiculous. But the Edinburgh has a pretty nice AA suite, albeit it doesn't have access to defensive fire, but that's A-okay. And then another thing about the ship is because it's Tier 8, you have access to the concealment equipment piece, for your 5th slot. So you're able to get your detection range down to 9 kilometers, which is very, very good. You're going to be able to outspot even some of those higher tier Japanese heavy cruisers like Ibuki and Zhao, which is really nice. So overall, the Edinburgh, well, all these things that I've said sound really nice on paper, but in practice, the Fiji is a much better ship tier for tier because of the matchmaking that this thing sees. There's usually radar cruisers almost every game that this ship gets into. And if you're not paying attention, well, it's not just going to be the radar cruiser that's going to be shooting at you once you do get detected. Battleships love shooting at these things in their smoke, and obviously, like I just mentioned, cruisers as well, because it does have a rather large citadel, and learning how to angle and learning how to get out of a situation when you need to in this thing will help you prepare for the ridiculously sized citadels that you have on Neptune and Minotaur. Anyway, we're going to get right here into the gameplay. It's 285, make that 288 to 330. We have captured Objective Alpha. The enemy team is moving into Bravo, and they also have a couple of ships that are going up to Charlie. So we're definitely going to have to be a little bit careful here, and this is actually a really good spot for the British light cruisers, simply because you're right at the corner of the island, so if you do need to go forward and get out of the way of torpedoes, like those potentially were right there, you're able to easily move forward. One thing about these ships is that they accelerate really fast, and they actually don't bleed any speed in the turn, so staying completely still in your smoke is actually the best idea. Yeah, you need to move around a little bit inside of it, but being able to stay somewhat stationary when you feel comfortable enough, and also cycling your hydroacoustic search with your smokes is imperative to being able to do good here in the ship. You can see that my hydro just ran out, but I only have about 20 seconds left on the smoke, so I know that the torpedoes aren't going to be coming in from that Benson because they were already dropped, so I feel pretty comfortable here. I'm up to about 30,000 points of damage, trying to go for the kill shot here. All of my shells, unfortunately, are going to hit the island, but somebody is about ready to take care of business. As the Kutuzov kills our New Orleans, the Amagi's secondaries take care of the Benson, and that enemy Neptune that creeped up to the island right there next to Objective Bravo, I launched some preemptive torps there into the smoke, so we're going to be able to see what we can do. And if you haven't noticed, the majority of the damage that I've been able to obtain was when that Alabama was going broadside to me. And even at the lengthier ranges that you do shoot at with this ship, at least comparatively speaking to the lower tier British light cruisers, like Leander that has a terrible range, I was still able to do a pretty healthy amount of damage. You're also going to see that here with the torpedoes. My damage counter is at 30,000. 2 torpedoes slam home into that Neptune in the smoke, and I managed to get a 25,000 hit point salvo on that guy. With only 2 torpedoes, it's a shame that I didn't hit the third one, or he certainly would have been taken care of. But nonetheless, he has to get out of the smoke now. He's absolutely screwed, and he's going to be dying here really, really shortly. Now, you can see I really don't want to get out of this position because being here is exceptionally valuable to my team. So I'm patiently waiting out, and I'm now starting to back up, and I'm getting ready to use my smoke screen. But you see how I didn't panic and just use it immediately? Yes, I just took a decent hit right there. But there was no reason for me to panic smoke or just to get the heck out of there. I was very patient. I realized that I was fine and that there were only 1 or 2 people aiming at me at any one time, and I felt pretty comfortable just waiting it out. And again, that's something that it's a very hard acquired taste, so to say, to learn because, you know, usually at the first sign of danger, British light cruisers or ships like Belfast and Kutuzov, they'll immediately pop their smoke and not even think about the possible ramifications of, you know, popping their smoke immediately. Some things you just might not think about. So, yeah, anyway, the Turpets in the cap is about to die, unfortunately, and with that is the spotting on those enemy ships that are over there. My buddy, Mega, has moved into the smoke screen with me, and we are just kind of chilling here, waiting for our teammates that are down at Objective Alpha. There's an Iowa, a Hipper, a Bismarck, and the Lo Yang to come up and help us out. But it's looking pretty dire right now. We're in a very bad bind. It's 199 to 442. The enemy team has only lost 2 ships, while our team has lost half of the fleet. So again, very, very bad situation we're in here. And we're going to see what we're going to be able to do. And it's right about here where me and Mega Dude kind of put on the man pants, turn it up to 11, and we're going to basically take the game by the horns right here. So this is going to be pretty exciting stuff to watch. Getting some shots here at the Ibuki. I did mark the target for Mega Dude. I need him to shoot at that guy. He is certainly the closest threat. His shell's fallen and chunk him down about half the remaining hit points that he had. So I'm going to continue to shoot at this guy. You can see a Kutuzov's moving in here. There is almost a full health Alabama that's coming. The Ibuki does take a few more hits, and even though he's angled perfectly against me, some of his superstructure still hasn't taken much damage. So even though, again, he's perfectly angled, I'm still able to do some damage to him. He's only at 1,200 hit points, and this next salvo should be able to take care of business. And there we go. I take out that Tier 9 Japanese heavy cruiser, up to 72,000 points of damage. And now, just as my smoke runs out, I have already started to speed up, and I exit my smoke at full speed, almost up to 30 knots, and I played that pretty good. And then, of course, since I'm in this position, I can use that island to be able to shield me from any potential shells, and it's funny that I say that because the Alabama did manage to get a pretty decent salvo. No Citadel, but it was about 13,000 or so points of damage, but that's okay because I have the hit points and I have the crazy heal. You can see there, I was down to 17,000 hit points, and I was able to get back to 24 with that lone heal. So very nice stuff right there. I'm looking for a cheeky shot right here through the island at the Kutuzov. Maybe I'll get the kill. I'm going to follow the shells in. Unfortunately, no. But don't let that salvo from the Alabama fool you. That is a very powerful spot, and you can use those islands, the rocky outcropping at the end of the island to be able to shield you from potential shells that are coming in. I thought I was good enough away from the Alabama, but clearly I was not. So at this point, I kind of have to leave my buddy right there, but he does have the majority of his hit points, and he is angled well in, still able to use all 3 of his guns. So at this point, I am feeling pretty comfortable. I told him that I was going to move around the island and try to get some flanking shots on the Des Moines. There's, of course, the Amagi, a Bismarck, and Alabama. So yeah, it's still not looking very good for us here. But again, he has the majority of his hit points, and he's obviously a good player. So I feel pretty comfortable about moving around here. You can see that I'm telling the Lo Yang, he only has 681 hit points. Be careful. He's getting a little bit too close to that Des Moines. He's already well within range of that guy's radar if he were to use it. So I was really not keen about this guy pushing in and trying to drop his torpedoes. But hey, you can only give people so much, right? Fortunately, Mega does manage to take care of the Des Moines, so that's a very good kill, gets rid of the enemy radar. But there's yet another Alabama coming in that's almost at full health, and there's even a Missouri way in the back that's almost at full health too. So at this point, is right as I'm about to get detected, which I do for a split second, I pop my next smoke, and I'm now going to get some shots here at the enemy Alabama. I'm going to try to take care of this guy. Mega Dude should be shooting at this guy. I did mark him, although you can't really see it. And unfortunately, the Amagi the Iowa dies from the Amagi. So at this point, it appears that the Loyang has also been spotted as well. As you can see, secondary shells flying across my screen. He got way too close to that Alabama, and he is going to pay for it. It's something that I just don't understand. When you have that few hit points, there was no reason for him to go trying to fly in there and get damage and a potential kill with his torpedoes. It was a very, very selfish play. It was something that could have been completely avoided on his end, and the Alabama secondaries managed to take care of business. So at this point, there's still a hipper, but we're in a 4 versus 5 situation, and all of them are battleships. I do manage to pick up the Confederate, and I also hit a torpedo on the bow of that Bismarck, so there we go, up to about 110,000 points of damage. The Alabama blind fires into the smoke. He does not manage to hit me, and you're going to see right here where the British AP really starts to shine. We're hitting just above the belt armor, right into that really weak section of, well, the ship that doesn't really have any armor. And you can see the damage rolls that I'm getting. Another 4,895 damage done right there. Getting the next salvo out. The Bismarck is continuing to push in. The reason why I don't want to go out any further is because if he has hydroacoustic, I will get detected right here, but I will be safe from his return fire. My next salvo goes in on the Alabama, and I kill my second ship of the game. 125,000 points of damage. It's now 463 to 474, and my buddy Mega back there is still tanking. He's got 3 battleships in front of him, and at this point, I'm trying to help him out. I'm going to start creeping forward and try to get some shots over the rocks right there. British light cruisers do have rather poor shell arcs, but they're very similar to the American heavy cruisers where you can lob them over the island. Unfortunately, you can see right here that it does take British light cruisers quite a long time to slow down. And I also misjudged the amount of time that I had until my next and last smoke. Still got 25 seconds left, and I'm sitting completely out in the open with 3 battleships that are now going to be looking at me. So this was a huge mistake that I made right here. And I'm not afraid to say that I almost threw the game away right here. The Missouri did take a pretty cheeky shot at me. I do get angled in as best as I can, but of course it doesn't really matter. I still take about 10,000 points of damage. Alabama shells, luckily coming in, do not hit me. I only got 3 seconds left until my next smoke, and it could not come any faster. But Mega right there nukes whatever hit points were remaining right there on the enemy Bismarck. A very nice shot by him. Luckily, that first shell that hit me right at the front did not over-penetrate the bow and lead to my certain demise, which is, again, very, very lucky for me. And I'm going to get some shots here at the Alabama. So don't get me wrong right there, guys. That was a terrible play that I made right there. But luckily, RNG hooked me up, and I didn't take any too awfully, bad salvos from those battleships. Now continuing to shoot at this Alabama that's angled in, and you can see where I'm aiming on the front of the superstructure. Again, even though he's angled perfectly against me, if you hit the right places, you're going to be able to get some damage. Did you notice where those shells hit just below the armored conning tower on that Tier 8 premium American battleship? And again, doing some damage. Another 1,000 salvo right there. I'm now trying to creep into position to launch my starboard side of torpedoes, which I am going to do right now. More shells fly in. Unfortunately, the Alabama takes care of the hipper, so now it's in a 3 versus 3 situation. Get the next salvo out, perfectly angled in, and it does not matter. I get my 3rd kill of the game, taking out the Alabama, and I'm up to 145,000 points of damage done so far. The Amagi is now heading towards Mega, and I asked him to be a bro and go for the ram, because you can see the Missouri was last spotted in Charlie 6, moving down to the south. He's definitely going to be coming down here towards the objective at Bravo, and my ultimate goal is to try to get back to Mega by the time that Missouri gets down here. Obviously, he has the radar range of 9.5 kilometers, but he's also faster than me. So he's 13.8 right now, but of course he's probably at full speed, moving 33 knots. And he's going to catch up to me rather shortly here. So I asked Mega Dude if he could go for the ram just to try and get that Amagi out of there so that when I go around the corner of the island that I would not get detected. But unfortunately, I was a bit too passive right here. And I saw him at 11.8 kilometers away, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to have enough time to get the heck out of here. So you can see on the mini-map, Mega is going in for the ram, and I'm also capturing the base, 595 to 575, make that 578. and you can see him continuing to turn in. Again, a very, very selfless play made by Mega Dude right here, so I really did appreciate it at the time, and there we go. He manages to pick up the Confederate and get the ram, and just in the nick of time, the Missouri appears. He's 9.5 kilometers away from me. I am going to launch my port side of torpedoes against that guy, but like I said, he is faster than me, so I'm just trying to get around the edge of the island. I will be able to get this base cap, but for some reason he does not use his radar, so it prevents him from being able to reset the cap, but I do get detected right here, and this is where we're going to go to the absolutely sublime. Turning my turrets into position. There we go. The shells are out. He shoots at me. I manage to turn in, and I'm going to be able to dodge his entire salvo from the front guns. He has to think that there's torpedoes coming in, but for some reason, he just continues on his merry way. He's getting his rear turret ready to go. There we go. The shells are coming in. I only have 10,000 hit points, and he can over-penetrate my butt. I do manage to dodge and land all 3 torpedoes, nuking that guy down to about 30,000 hit points and picking up the high caliber. So a very nice set of torpedoes, and he inexplicably continues to go in a straight line. More shells are coming in, trying to wiggle my booty back a little bit. One shell goes right through the nose and about 4,000 points of damage. So I'm only at 6,000 as I do use my last heal to get to 8,400. I turn a little bit. His rear turret is coming in. His shells, that is. Ooh, and I managed to take it for 1,300. One overpen, and one of the shells absolutely bounced off the side. And you can see where I'm shooting him into the superstructure that's able to get this very nice and consistent damage. More shells from his front turrets coming in, and I managed to dodge all of them. Make that 3 for 3 on back-to-back-to-back salvos from his front turrets. My torpedoes are reloaded, and I'm continuing to pepper his superstructure. And now I'm launching my next set of torpedoes at this guy, and he just freezes. I see that he's aiming at me. There's obviously the one right next to the exclamation point, and I have no idea what this guy's doing. He only has 7,700 hit points left. I've already cracked 210,000 points of damage. He's continuing to go in a straight line. I felt comfortable enough to somewhat open my broadside, waiting for the inevitable salvo from him, and he's just not shooting at me. I have no idea what this guy is doing. Shells from my Bismarck buddy go in, and I should be able to get the kill here rather shortly. Put him down on 653 hit points. My torpedo would have slammed home into him, but my rear turrets are able to fly in and take care of business. What a game here in the Edinburgh. Alrighty guys, taking a look now at the post-battle results. 541,000 credits received, 12,286 total XP. That was not my first win of the day. I picked up Confederate, Dreadnought of all things, and High Caliber. 217,000 points of damage done off of 379 shell hits and 6 torpedoes. I sent 4 ships to the bottom, managed 11 base defense ribbons, 1 solo base cap, and I even had a solitary secondary hit. Taking a look at the team score, 3,212 base XP, an absolutely monster carry, and my buddy Mega Dude with 3 kills himself, he ended up with 161,000 points of damage and 2,190 base XP. So the APOC guys securing 7 kills and doing over 350,000 points of damage. An exceptional game for me and him. Very, very good stuff. Taking a look at the detailed report, 141,000 done with the AP, 73,000 done with the torpedoes, so a very nice job right there. 1.8 potential damage, 1.8 million that is, and you can see just the amount of damage that I was able to do to those battleships that were moving into the objective. Very, very awesome stuff. And lastly, for the credits and XP, 356,000 credits received, and like I said earlier, 12,286 total XP. So thank you guys very much for watching this replay. Please leave a comment. Please like the video. Possibly subscribe to the channel as well. All of it is very much appreciated. And with that being said, the Sneaky Snake here for Brothers in Arms World of Warships signing off. Guys and gals, as always, have a great day.